Hi, it's Jo here from Back to Basics Health Solutions. Hope you have an amazing day so far. I wanted to pop in and have a chat to you about headaches. I have been a person who has experienced headaches over, since I've been a teenager, and I'm still pretty young at the moment anyway, but it has been part of my life for a very long time. So there's a couple of reasons why we can have headaches. We can have a migraine, which if I can catch them early enough, I do have migraines. So you've got a headache, a migraine, or you can have a cluster headache. You could also stem them from, headaches could come from sinus being all blocked up in through here, and it can also cause a pulsing and a headache there. And it can be associated when you're not feeling well, or colds and flus, you can get that headache. Trauma can cause a headache, and of course vascular disease. So there's a couple of reasons why you could be experiencing headaches, and of course if this is something brand new and it's not something that you experience a lot of, do seek medical assistance. Pop in, maybe have a checkup. There could be some underlying things happening. But anyway, we just want to go through a few things and touch on a few. Now, tension headaches can be a mild to a moderate. You can tend to have like a band around the head, and it doesn't really have that pulsating action. That more comes into your migraine. So it's more just like you sort of got this, and you can even get a little bit of a pain up in through here. Now, things that can cause a tension headache is screen time. Yes, mobile phones, wearing glasses, and of course I'm on my computer typing all the time. So we're using a lot of the visual eye contact component. Lack of sleep, not having enough sleep and you get tired can also bring on a headache. Muscular tension, shoulders, depending on the type of work you're doing. If you're a manual labor, you could be built up in here. If you're a person who's on a computer like me, we can build up this here. So that's something that can then stem up under the neck area, and I'll talk about massage in a minute, but getting massage there. Caffeine and sugar. High caffeine can cause an issue, and I know for me personally, yes, I do have decaffeinated coffee, even though I know my friends give me a bit of a jab every now and then, and I do drink normal coffee every now and then, but caffeine can really fire my headaches up. I remember one time I was at my husband's work when he was at a company, and they had an espresso machine, and the boss made me an espresso, and I sat down and had a coffee, and I'm not telling a lie, within 3 sips my head was ready to explode. It was just like full on, and I just said to my husband, I've got to go, I'm going to be sick, I feel nauseous, and my head is just about ready to pop. Okay, so high caffeine and also high sugar. Now, if you want to know one thing that could set me up that's really high sugar, and I have not had this for a long time, baklava. My mum used to make that when we were really little. She got it from obviously a lady, got a recipe, and she used to make a baklava, but I can tell you what, oh my God, in an instant, that would give me a headache. And then stress can cause headaches as well. Now, you may not be aware of this, but around about 4.9 million Australians suffer from headaches or some form of headaches, whether it be tension, stress, migraines. Believe it or not, also another fact, 71% of these are females. I'm not quite sure why, but females tend to have more headaches than men. Now, what could be really good is to start tracking where your headaches are coming from, what could be causing it, and there's quite a few apps that you can get, just even if you download them onto your phone. As a headache diary, you can use one called Migraine Buddy or Migraine Monitor. I do have one that I can send out to you if you want to email me or send me a message. It's called a pain tracker. I can shoot that out to you, and you can just write it down into a normal everyday diary, Monday to Sunday, and start seeing what's happening. Is there a pattern? Is it after certain meals, which we'll talk about soon? But is there a reason that could be causing? How was your day at work? What are these things that are happening, especially if you have these quite often? Now, going into a migraine suffer, which is more person like me, basically this can set you back for sometimes 72 hours, and I am one of these people that it does set me back for about 72 hours, and it can be like a jackhammer. It's belting. I've definitely got a pulsing happening. My ears are sensitive. I could be sensitive to light, not so much an issue on that component, but I could have nausea in my belly. I don't quite feel so well. And for me, which is not always common as well, I find that when I go to bed and lay down, my throbbing is even more so. So I'm one of these different people that I have to sit up and try and trick myself, and I might have to put the TV on low, but try and stay more upright versus laying down, because I can really feel that pounding. You may experience even more things like visual disturbances, numbness, weakness, and tingling. If it's a little bit more and you don't normally experience them, once again, seek medical help, because it could be something else happening. There can be a couple of triggers that sets off a migraine. God love it, hormones. Yes, I'm in my 50s, but hormones can trigger it all the way back from even when I was a young teenager. I had headaches, you know, all the way pretty well through my life. There's periods that I didn't have headaches, and I tell you when I didn't have headaches, when I was pregnant. Yep, so it comes back to hormones. Through my 3 pregnancies, it was the best thing ever. No headaches. So obviously something changed there. Inflammation, when you have an inflamed state, that can come from the inside, something you can't really see, but an inflamed state. Stress, MSG from food. Now, a lot of MSG is taken out of food, but you just never know. Certain foods, as I said before, can definitely trigger it. Carrying that bit of extra weight or obesity, I'll talk about a little bit on the weight component in a second. Poor sleep. Odors can set you off. It could be things like a cigarette smell. It could be greasy, fat smell, but something could trigger it off and make you not feel very well and can set that off. Now, one of the things that can set me off is perfume. And it's a hard one, because when I talk about medication in a minute, it doesn't really change that, because I've set it off through my smells. And if someone comes into my clinic, and I remember doing a seminar one time, and this lady had this perfume on, and I had an hour seminar that I was presenting, and she walked in, and you know, you normally speak to people about 10-15 minutes beforehand, and it was instant. She walked in the door, and for an hour I did my seminar, but literally my head was exploding out here. So I'm very aware of perfume smells, and if someone has a high perfume smell on, I will move myself away, because it's something that I can't control, and I can't stop that headache from not happening. There's no avoiding it. It is actually something that will last more than 24 hours for me. Okay, so there's some things. And also too, we're going to be looking at a few things. You know, could you be low in your magnesium? Because that can be one of the common things that most people may be very low in, so we'll get to there. What could happen is that when you're looking at changing the pain factor, you're reaching for anything that's going to stop that pain. We'll either go for a paracetamol, an ibuprofen, or an aspirin. That's where commonly we'll grab something. Now, this can also reduce some of your gut health and also your B12 absorption. I'm going to talk on your Bs in a second. Or some people could also be on preventatives. If you've been diagnosed with your doctors, you could be on beta blockers, or antidepressants could be one component. Now, when we're looking on a natural level, you could do things like your turmeric and boswellia is one of the products that we have here even in the clinic. And that helps with people who have headaches, or of even soft tissue injuries, inflammation, or even arthritis. And you could use that instead as a replacement from Panadol. So that's something you could trial out. Going back to that magnesium, we want to probably put you in a high dosage, or you can have one that we can have more over a consistent time frame, so we can moderate that. But if you're having acute, you want to have a high dosage in the beginning. But we could monitor this over, you know, you've got your 4, 8, 12 week component. But that's more of a long-term preventative as well. Remembering that your magnesium, they all play a part in together to help with the stress component. If you want to look at smells, as in aromatherapy, nice healing smells, you've got your lavender or peppermint oil or camphor. Now, for me personally, lavender does not work. It actually increases. Remember, I said before, I have a sensory component, so certain smells set my headaches more off more, and lavender is one of those ones. So that's one of the smells that I do tend to avoid, but definitely peppermint I have no issue with, and camphor. But you could do as aromatherapy. You could put these around your house, in your bedroom. They may help. Rightio. When we're looking at headaches, we once again come back to moods and stress. Now, people who suffer from migraines could have 5 times the likely chance of having depression or suffer from anxiety. I'm not saying that's what will happen, I'm just saying that it's there. So we need to have a look at what's happening and why and how long you're having these headaches for and what's causing them, because they can be impacting your sleep. You could be suffering from insomnia, which I can suffer with too. So we need to look at all those components on what's happening in your life so that we can track it. That's why having an app tracker or writing things down makes sense, so we can pinpoint more things. Another thing that we can look at is increasing your B vitamins, because that helps us on a stress level, working on the nervous system and the anxiety component. Your Bs are really important. Massage and chiropractics also is something that I do quite regularly. Each month or around about every 6 to 8 weeks, I will also go see a chiropractor, but I also have massage, because I know for me as a person who is at a computer and always typing and doing stuff, this component, now we've got the phones and mobile phones, we're always down here. So if you're always, you know, putting your neck down, we could be causing more stress and more tension headaches there. So it's really good to have a preventative, and hey, I love having massages anyway. Another tablet that we could be looking at or to look at is your CoQ10. Now your CoQ10, if you're deficient, it actually helps with the mitochondria support, and that helps with the inflammation and the proteins in the system. So we might need to look at CoQ10 low in your body. Once again, I said magnesium could be low. If you're deficient in magnesium, it could be an issue. We need to increase that. Vitamin D deficiency is very real. Even though we get vitamin D from the sun, you could still be deficient. And because your vitamin D and your magnesium linking together, if you're low in one, so if you're low in your magnesium, it may not be uptaking your vitamin D. So we need these two guys to work together as a team. A lot of people who are overweight will have low vitamin D. So that's why I spoke about, you know, your obesity and carrying extra weight. It could be that you are deficient without realizing it. And 60% of people are actually low in your vitamin D. So we're going to look at those components. Another one that people are pretty low in is your omega-3 and 6 oils, your fish oils. We don't tend to have a lot of fish in our diet or seafood. I mean, I do try and include fish into our week, but once upon a time we would have had more fish in our diet, in our normal diet, but we don't. So we need your omega-3 oil somehow. Generally a capsule might be easier, but it helps with the inflammation. So if you're a person that has more inflammation and you've got that pulsing as well, you might be deficient in your omega-3s. Two herbs that are really good is turmeric and saffron. We can get that in a herbal medication as well. Now they are spices, they're also antioxidants, and they could help as another anti-inflammatory. Turmeric is really good for that, especially if you've got that throbbing effect, and it can also help with depression. Bouncing back again to vitamin B, now there's a couple in the B zones. You've got B6, B2, B12, B9. That's a formula that we can combine together, but it's also your B12 and folate, which is really important. And what happens is that if you've got low gut absorption, you could also be low in your B vitamins. So this could be one of the things that are coming back. Once again, like, you know, to manage your stress, your B vitamins is pretty important as well. A thing that could assist you on as a preventative is yoga. Yoga is really good. You can use your breathing, use your posture and relaxation. You could also use some of these tools when you're laying in bed to help shut your mind down and to relax your body. So, you know, if you haven't thought about exercising, as in you might think, well, you know, exercise is just like doing weights or running and stuff like that. No, you could just do your yoga, would be really good if you want to help with your neck and tension and headaches. A thing that I would suggest is if you are going to the doctors for a checkup, ask for some blood tests, especially if these are quite regular. Ask for your B12 and folate, ask for that to be tested. Definitely your vitamin D3, get them to check that. Magnesium and iron. I'm not going to talk about iron today, but iron could also be another component and reasons why you could be experiencing headaches. So you might need to just get them checked to find out what's happening. Really important to do a food journal. I know if you're part of my Healthy Living program, my people do a food journal. I do this for a reason. It's not to be a pain in your side. It's actually to write down what's happening, because I already recognize that certain foods can set triggers off for many different reasons. So for you, it might be that we need to pinpoint what's happening so that we can make better choices, whether you're looking at losing weight or you're just doing an overall health and well-being, but your food component could very well be a trigger, so we can do that. So we might need to eliminate. And if you're having issues with weight, we already said that you could be deficient in your vitamin D. We do need to look at your food component. We do need to bring your weight down as well, because it could be causing issues. And I'm more than happy to help with your support and help with swapping out some of your foods, because a lot of people are confused about how to swap it out. How do I change things around? That's what I deal with all the time. Whereas for me, that it seems quite easy. It's something that I've been doing for over 25 years. But for you, it might become overwhelming. So what we've got to do is change that around and go, well, how can I change my foods out and feel good on the inside and the outside? Acupuncture and dry needling, you could also work with. If you don't have massages or go to the chiropractor, you could also try them. Physiotherapists, acupuncturists, they all do these. They are good and they have been known to help. Now, if you like, I also do have a mood and support questionnaire that if you would like to find out, well, what type of headache do I have? Is it, is it a tension headache? Is it because my sleep? Is it from food? But I've got a little checklist that you can go through, rate it, how you're feeling, and that way then we can make sure that we match up the right vitamin minerals that you could be low in to support what's happening with you individually. And of course, if you'd like me to have a look at your food journal, more than happy to go over your food journal as well. Because there's one thing that I love is creating meals, and of course, getting the right foods on the inside to help you on the outside. That's about it. I hope you've enjoyed the information that I've shared today. If you'd like any support or information, if you'd like that questionnaire, let me know. If you need any assistance in bringing your weight under control, of course, let me know. I'm always here for that. But if you'd like me to have a look at a food journal and it's more for your overall health and well-being, you can also shoot me in your food journal or make an appointment, and I'm more than happy to go over it with you. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to catching up with you again very soon. See you later.